All right, members, thank you very much. So we have a big day planned. We have Jive, Tango, some Quickstep, THARA'S Son's Waltz review, which is great. So there's something we can learn from everyone. And then a little bit on routines and choreography and all that sort of thing. So I'm very excited to bring today's lesson to you. Now, last night I was up very late with a masterclass launch. And this is going to be great for you guys as well. It's something I'm going to do over on my YouTube channel. All right. I'm really going to move heavily in towards that this year. And I figured I'd create a masterclass that targets more the beginner, intermediate stuff, but there'll be definitely things in there for all of us. I will learn things through studying and picking up bits and pieces to teach this again. But it's going to be an awesome series each week starting the 11th of February. Okay, so feel free to come on that. Also invite any of your dance friends that are wanting to improve, so we can all get together and make it as exciting and awesome as possible. Okay, so how was your break? Did you have a good break? I loved having a summer holiday, but to be fair, I actually feel much better when I'm working and when I'm dancing. So I've been back at it. The studios are going gangbusters. And so everything's looking forward to being a good year. I feel good about the year, and I really hope you do too. And that's what the premise of this entire membership area is about, is even though we might be distant, we are still connected, right? And we're moving through this together. So let's get right into the Jive, okay? Alrighty then, so let me look at this in conjunction with everything else. Man, today was a funny morning, hey? Just getting things going. Just make sure all these things actually work. Okay, so the Jive, this one comes from Elizabeth. All right, the timing of the mooch. Recently we were in class and the mooch was being developed a little further with a hold and a pause when the toe is at its lowest point. I've come away from the class not completely sure on the timing and the start of the mooch. Is it delayed? Do you all know the mooch? Right, the mooch is a very cool. Let's just get some color up on that. Look at that, boom, magic. So the mooch, so everyone can be a bit familiar. We've got from here. So you rock back, step forward, and you flick the foot down from the knee, flick, close, and then change back into a link, and you repeat on the other leg. So lady just does the opposite, so right foot, left foot, and then we do our good old flicks, right, and our flicks. And I managed to get my, I think my foot cam back up as well. So let me just quickly see if I can get this here. So essentially, all right, so quick, quick, and then a flick there. So getting the foot to point down, and then close, and then point, and then close. Now, in terms of the actual timing changing, I am not sure of what you mean of pausing here, right? So there might just be an extra like quick, quick, and then a quick, quick sort of thing. Please send me a video, all right, so I can understand a little bit more about what you're doing. But when you do the actual mooch itself, keep your weight more forward towards the balls of your feet, and then get a good flick from the knee. So this is where you want to feel that you're doing a nice movement down anyway. So bang, and then react off the supporting leg, okay? So this is one of the things that people don't do very well in Jive. Now, I think I've told you that before anyway, is to get your legs to create a nice lift through the thigh, right? And then flick from below the knee. So there's like a little swing. And then when you arrive at the lowest point, the leg is stretched, but don't stretch it so much you feel like you're about to rip out your tendons, okay? You don't want to feel like your knee is about to disappear into the void, right? It doesn't flick off and then your shoe disappears. It hits a certain point and then you react, so bang, right? And that creates the nice sort of, I suppose, the excitement of the rhythm, all right? So that's for the mooch. Send me a video of that. It'll be a little bit easier for me to orientate the answer on that. So let's hit up some tango for those who love the tango. I like the tango. Okay. All right. So what are the tips on differentiating between the quicks and the slows to maximum effect? Maximum effect. Okay. So, all right, let me ask everyone out there, what is the time signature of tango to start with? All right. So what's the time signature of tango? There's two time signatures. Okay, the first one is 2/4 timing, so 2 beats to a bar. When you dance that, you normally count 1 and 2 and 2 and 2 and 3 and 2 and 4 and 2 and. That confused me no end when I first learned tango, but then we understand we count as a rhythm, slow, quick, quick, right? As a typical sort of way to look at the tango. Knowing that a slow in that instance is worth 1 beat of music and a quick is worth half a beat or an and, okay? So slow and Quick, for example, could be used as a timing for a step. But the 4/4 time signature is a little easier, and more modern music, especially competition, uses that. All right, so you got 4 beats to a bar. So what happens in that instance is, like, in terms of, say, a slow foxtrot or quickstep, a slow is worth 2 beats and a quick is worth 1. And why is that important? Because I find it easier to help teach weight, which is what it's about, like weight transference, with that idea, okay? Because you know that the slow is going to be, 1 beat, 2 beats, and the quick is going to be, 3rd beat and then 4th beat. So, and again, most music is that. Original tango is typically 2/4 timing. Either way, we're still trying to understand the type of character and rhythm we're creating. All right, so what's the character and rhythm of tango, ladies and gentlemen? Is it a soft flowing dance, or is it an aggressive, passionate dance, right? I'd say it's not aggressive, but it's passionate. The idea of the dance is known as the dance that stops and starts. Okay, so that's sort of the original idea. It's still the same idea. So when we look at creating a slow, for example, we still want to have, so one of the confusing things that I'll point out to everyone here is with timing is when you hear the word slow, people confuse it and start to dance slowly, and that's not the same. All right, or they hear quick and then they rush, right? So we have to understand that the slow and quick does not actually orientate towards the speed you should dance. Okay, and that doesn't get confusing at all when you're doing foxtrot, right? Slow down. Your quicks are too quick and your slows are too fast. It's like, what? But it makes sense when you understand movement, right? And rise and fall. Okay, so look, when we're looking at tango, all right, let's just use a walk, right? A basic walk. And I'll also get my phone. It's a bit easier for me to switch cameras here. So, all right, if we look at a normal walk, what count is a walk? Okay, so a walk as a foundation is slow, isn't it? We don't really walk like the tango walks with a quick. So if we use that first walk, we'll do it as the man at first. Okay, so when I go, oh man, can I just try something real quick? Let's have a look at this. Let's see if this works. No, did that work? No. Okay, so apologies for that. Let's try one more. No, I'm not seeing it. Okay, let's go. So cool. Thank you for that. Now, if we look at the slow, we've got 2 bits of music. Again, you've heard me work on this before, but this is of utmost importance for development of dancing is the weight transference. In fact, I would go as far to say that if you don't understand how to transfer your weight properly in complete steps, you're always going to be limited to how good you will be. Now, when you take that first step, right, it's obviously going to be a heel. You pick up the leg, right, pick up the foot just a bit off the floor. You strike the beat at the sort of the beginning of beat 1, and remembering this 2 counts, right? So what you want to aim to do is imagine the slow is like 2 quicks. Okay, so what this means is that first step is going to be danced quite strongly, but then you use the remainder of the beat for the weight to transfer. Now, how far do you transfer, right? Do you go right over the toe? No, like you want your weight to be held back a little bit in tango. I call it the 80-20 rule. And there's video on my YouTube channel about that, where you can see the weight being held just back at the heel. And that helps you to stay with your partner, right? Because if the lady's going backwards, and we'll do this with the foot cam in a second. Actually, no, we'll do foot cam now because we're here. That is not the foot camera. Yeah. We're going to go manually bang, bang, bang. So here, it's a bit easier to understand, especially on a small screen. So, right, when the lady goes backwards for a walk, she'll be hitting that first part as well, right? So you reach out. That heel must remain up, ladies. It's very important going backwards that you don't drop that heel, okay? Because as the man and yourself complete that weight transference, you actually don't lower this right heel, okay, until you start, until you lift this foot and start to transfer for the next step. All right, so what that means is that if you drop this heel on a walk, boom, you will not be able to dance correct rhythm. All right, so, and you certainly won't be transferring weight together very well. So 1 and then 2, right? If I curve it here, then 3, hit that beat, keep the heel up, and then 4. All right, so what you start to do is have a slight pause, but you're also not what's it called? Completely stopping. Okay, so if we're looking at the movement, we're going to be getting here. We're going to be going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And walk in a circle doing that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there should be a feeling of when you do a slow, understanding how to now to transfer your weight, that when you dance an actual slow, that it would look, and in terms of a rhythm, it would look like it's building up to something, right? Like it's like there's a bit of a delay, a slight pause, and a lot of control. When you hit the quick slow, what you want to aim to do with the quick is, as you finish the quick, pause completely, right? So if you do a link, a progressive link, which by the way is very difficult to do well. I remember lots of my coaches they'd often say this. Actually, so when I first went to England, I had lessons with all the top coaches, right? So Marcus Hilton, Karen Hilton, Richard Gleave, Anne Gleave, Janet Gleave. There was a story in that one, by the way. I got confused with the Gleaves, like which one should I have a lesson with? And Janet Gleave, I thought was Anne Gleave. Turns out Richard Gleave married Janet Gleave first. They were world champions together, and then they divorced. Still taught in the same studio. So I booked like 2 weeks worth of lessons with her. Had a lesson with her. Didn't like learning from her. We didn't gel. Like, not that she's a bad coach, nothing like that. Just, some teachers you like their teaching or you don't. And I didn't resonate. And so I was like, shit, I booked with the wrong woman. And so then I was like, Anglia was across in Kingston upon Thames, like across the road. I was like, oh, she's over there. And she's married to Richard, right? I'm like, what the fuck? Anyway, so this is my like foray into the British dance world. I'm like, great first impression. So I had to awkwardly like change all those lessons. Anyway, I didn't have to explain anything. I was like, oh yeah, whoopsies. I'd like to have lessons there instead. Anyway, so but we did tango right with her. And then who else? Anyone else in the ballroom that I can recall? No, I think it was basically like about six coaches in that sense. And when we came to tango, they all said, and Anthony Hurley included in this one, uh, please show me your, always please show me your two walks, a progressive link and a closed promenade, right? So essentially we've got these steps here. So, slow, slow, quick, quick, slow, then tango, close. And I was like, okay, I can do that. Now, what was interesting about it, you can't hide like anywhere when you do that. Yeah, there's nothing you can't show fancy pivots and lines and massive shaping to hide your bad technique. And I was always happy when we finally went from, that was around 2010, 11, later towards 2018, when we're having lessons with Anthony here in Australia, because he retired out here. I remember him pausing and like going, that was very good. And I was like, oh, I could have cried. I could have cried because that was like, he said it's very difficult to dance that well, and you dance it very well, and then most people, they don't do links anymore in competitions, right? Because progressive links, because they're very, very hard. Now, one of the reasons for that is not only the footwork, but I think it's also the use of this what's it called? Like reflexive power, like the way you turn through your thighs to go into promenade. So what this means in terms of rhythm, right? So you're looking at the first step as the man in CVMP. Okay, so there's the first quick. Note where my weight is. Okay, you can see it's held back, not over the foot. This is mistake one in terms of destroying rhythm and timing. Now, the second step is to the side and slightly back. Yeah, so this right foot will go side and slightly back, and then your the instep or the inside edge of the ball of the left foot is on the floor, right? So in promenade position. So if I look at this with a little bit more detail for you, so we can all understand where we're going. Please excuse me. I didn't quite orientate those cameras very well today. So, right, if I'm here, that first bit, quick, right? You see the foot's turned in, and then quick, right, into that position. So you don't, by the way, like you don't go like this in tango, right? Because now you're going to push your hips up on a funny angle and lose balance. So that's a toe. So just try to get to the inside edge of ball, especially if you're just a social dancer, right? You don't have to do too much, right? So you want your feet parallel about there. Okay. Now, when you do that with some speed, right? Quick, quick, there's a pause. You see the feet. If we do it again, so it's not quick and then slowly rolling. As a lady, you're going back on the ball, turn the foot in a little bit. As the heel lowers, you actually turn on the ball of this back foot to then bring your left foot to the side and slightly back, right? And that gets you into your promenade position. You can pick the heel up a little bit more, right? But try not to do this. This is ugly, right? It's too much, and the knee is funny. So if we do that again, we're going from here, quick, quick, okay? So note the feet are parallel. This is a tip for you all in tango. In promenade, if you'll see if my left foot's like that, this is wrong. If my feet are parallel, promenade, 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 right? my next step can go sideways very, very easily, okay? So let's look at that with a little bit more understanding, right? Feel free to write some questions in the window if you want. By the way, so I embed this from YouTube, so essentially you can watch this by clicking on the actual video within the membership area. It will take you, because it's unlisted on YouTube, and you'll be able to watch it there if you want to comment a little bit more interactively. Okay, so anyways, if we look at that again as the man, quick, okay? In terms of the body, that's also going to help because we need to understand how to turn that. So the body has got very strong CBMP, quick, all right, then we turn. Ladies, you'll be here, right, and you do the same thing, so quick, okay? Now, if you put the two together, I'll see if I've got some tango music. I should have some locked and loaded, ready to go for days like this, moments like this. How are you all enjoying this? Okay, here we go. Da, ba, dun, dun, dun. Waltz, glockenspiel. Let's do some glockenspiel on that one. That is a crazy name, isn't it? All right. Okay, that is a waltz. It's good to know that. Oh, Roman, what's up, man? Yeah, I got your question. I will aim to get to that. All right. Thank you. It is a bit last minute. Sometimes if you put a question in like just before the live stream, I may not get to it. But if you're here live, whack it in the window, right? I'll always try to look after you, everyone, right? In that sense. Okay, let me bring this together. Thank you for waiting a little bit. Sometimes just turning up is half the battle, isn't it? You turn up though, you're like, okay, don't be too harsh on yourself. At least you made it today, didn't you? You got here. Good on you. Good on me. Good on you. Good on us. Right? We did it. Warm up. Oh, apologies. It doesn't seem to be in my list. I don't know why my tangos disappeared. I hate when that happens sometimes. And I know how to use a computer, I think. But I don't necessarily remove shit. I think they get uploaded improperly. Okay, so last little thing. Anyway, so look, I'll just do the same thing I do every time we go. Tango. So we go from the beginning, right? We do our walks. Dun 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 dun. Yeah, you have come on, you have to do it, all right? If you don't have any music, so we go slow, then quick, pause, slow. Hot. Now again, that's slow, right? Promenade is a sideways step, slow, and then you move across your body, quick, slow. I'm going to give you another little tip here because you didn't ask for it, okay? So I'm going to throw out those like that unsolicited tip advice, but that's what we're here for, right? When we dance this just came from like the deep recesses of my brain, but essentially another way to think of rhythm, this will bring the last bit of tango in for a landing. So we've got our, just to orientate things, we've got our slow, first beat of the music, you're going to hit the spot you want to go to, then transfer, right, just behind the heel on the second beat. When you do a quick, both beats are equal, bang, bang, and you pause. Okay, where else could that be exemplified, I suppose, like on a progressive side step, right? So you could be like slow, quick, slow. So quick, slow, right? When you look at the use of the legs, especially from like below the knee, when we do like a progressive, a closed promenade, so I can go slow, there's my walk sideways, right? Not forward, never go forward. It's sideways promenade. Across ballroom dancing is a sideways movement, right? Now, step, strike, flick, close. I think that's it. Step, strike, flick, close. So what we're doing here is step, there's your normal walk, slow, then strike the floor with the heel, there's a pause, then there's a flick, right, from the shin, quick, and then close. So step, strike, flick, close. Let's show that up again. You know what? I need to quickly update this. Apologies on this. There, that'll do it because I need to just, yeah, bang. You see that magic? The magic of technology. I'm like a one-man producer, man. Okay, so we go from here. Step, strike, flick, close. Can you see the use of the rhythm? All right, we'll try that one more time. Ready? And step, strike, flick, close. Ladies, you do the same thing, but you're going to come around a bit more, right? So step, strike the floor, flick, and then close. All right? So why was I saying it like that? Because it helps you, rather than just dancing the standard rhythm, slow, quick, slow, you can start to use your feet and body a little bit better, right? And always remember that the use of your feet in terms of footwork and transference of weight is the combination of that creates the expression and the rhythm and the character that you're actually looking for. Make sure the upper body is very still, all right? There are other types of movements called legato and rubato. Rubato is like, I think it's rubato or ruttato, but it's essentially like where you actually go off time and catch back up, that sort of thing. We don't really do a lot of that. Legato is like long, essentially, and staccato means short and short and fast, or short and stop. Okay, so staccato rhythm is tango. So use the two. Sorry, don't worry about those so much at the moment. Try to understand your timing. Now, I'm going to give you a tip to stay with me to the end about routines and how to write routines down so you can start to look at your steps and go, oh, that's how I create rhythm. I've done this before with samba because there's 8 different rhythms in there. And it's important to know, like, there's a count there. You might be saying it correctly, but you're not quite sure, like, how should you use your legs and body weight within those steps, okay? Tango is a great dance to do this in, by the way. It's such a cool dance to actually play with. And because you're not rising and falling, you don't have half the bloody problems you get in ballroom dancing, yeah? Because you don't have to go up and down, you have to lower, you don't have to rotate through your legs. It's like, great, like, you've just wiped out like half the problems. Okay, so, okay, little pause here. So a quick question. Do I have to submit my questions to the member, or can I write them in email? Because I sent my video to the soap auction email. Okay. Yeah, it's look, it's always best to write the question in the members area. I can't guarantee, because I get a lot, and look, I'm going to show you something. Check this out, right? Right. Oh, that's nothing now. I don't know why that's less. Maybe it just deleted. But my email there, right? 11,000 unread emails. It's not. It's 190,000 across my 5 email addresses. Okay, so I get a lot of emails now. Yes, a lot of it's marketing, etc. But I don't answer. I can't actually physically answer and look at all the emails, so I might miss it. So that's why it's in the members area. Plus, then you go into the members area, and that's a great habit for you. So you start using your membership, and you might just watch a video. And remember, with that, everyone, you don't need to listen to every video, right? It's not. School really messes us up on this. You do not, and I'll repeat this: do not need to go completely sequentially. Okay, you might want to do that if you've got like OCD, but I've structured in a way that even though the lessons get delivered each week, you could go back and forth. In fact, Derek Cam, one of the first people that actually joined years ago, wrote a comment like 2 days ago, and he's like, "Oh, I'm just revisiting this step." The guy has been there since like for the last 4 years, right? So you keep coming back to it like a library. So just keep that in mind. I spent time structuring it in a way that it does not need to be done sequentially. However, Ballroom Mastery Academy Next Level, absolutely go through those lessons one by one. They're more of a deep dive, and then you can go back to things. You understand? So I would recommend for anyone here, no matter what your question is, if I deem it stupid, I will not say it. No, I probably will, and I'll call you out. I'm just kidding. No, I'm not. So, but we will write it in the members area, right through the submission question area, and either send me the video of yourself. Now, I might find an easier way to do this in the future. I'm sure there's lots of programs I could already use, but that will work for now. If you send me a YouTube link, then I have to download it off YouTube as well. In that sense, it's a little extra step for me that I have to do, but I'm happy to do it. Just however you get me the video via Dropbox as well is fine. So you can maybe add that link within. In fact, maybe do that. Maybe upload it to Google Drive or Dropbox or something. Then add that link in your question, if that makes sense. Okay, then you've done the question. You haven't needed to email me, and I can just pull it off that. Make sense? Okay, cool. Thank you. Now let's move on to. No, you're not supposed to see my vice. Okay. Roman, what's up? Let's get into this. Question. Hey, Vaughan, it's probably too late. Yeah, this close, because you're here live. We'll answer it. Just kidding. Is there a time? If there's time, could you please comment on whether it's very important to stay within the phrasing of the music? Particularly for Quickstep, starting a new combination of figures on the first beat in the music. I find it very hard to do. Also during competitions, since the music is so fast and many things can happen on the dance floor. I hope it makes sense. Thank you for the great program, Roman. My man, thank you. Okay, now that is a fantastic question. And I'm going to say that by you just you've told me where you're at by saying the music is so fast. I know where you're at now in terms of your skill. So the music's not too fast, you are too slow. So you're not understanding how to move properly yet, okay? So, all right, but that's okay, because guess what? That's where we all start, all right? I could certainly relate to the competition problem of standing on the floor, being like, I can't hear any of the phrasing. I don't even know where the first slow is, right? Where's the quick? Do you have my quick? And then, you know, my partner would be like, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm like, go with God, off we go. And so, so there is a learning curve on this. However, one of the things about dancing I encourage people to do is always punch above your weight, right? Not just in terms of like, say, competition, but in terms of what you're aiming to achieve. So for example, when you first learn to dance, and I noticed this yesterday, I've spent every month I do a starter class, okay? So I get people who've never danced before, and in the 4 weeks, they learn a basic waltz, a basic cha-cha, basic slow rhythm, sometimes the jive. But in the 4th week, I'm always recapping the dances. What I've noticed is if you try to learn the timing as you're dancing on the very first lesson, it's way too much information. So I always teach the pattern first. All right. When they've done that, say for 3 weeks, by the 4th week, I say, you must count this now. So I'll get them to count, you know, man first and lady first, then together, then count to music and constantly count. And it's amazing what it does. Like the pattern, then counting out loud, not inside, because we all say, I'm counting inside. It's like, no, you're not. You think you are, but you don't know if you are, right? Because you might be like, what am I having for dinner? Like, oh, those person's shoes look funny. You know, like, so if you count out loud, you are absolutely focused on counting. And when you blend that with the steps, and then you do it to music, so in those sort of those things, it was amazing how nice the class looked, and then you could feel the confidence. So my point here is that that's punching above your weight, right? Because people are terrified to count out loud, especially because they might be humiliated because they're wrong, right? Well, guess what? That's dancing, isn't it? But it's a skill. And I keep saying that very few people can actually count out loud and dance without much practice, right? Like pretty much I would say that's the anomaly. It's not the rule. The rule is no one counts well out loud to music continuously correctly when they first learn to dance. So that's punching above your weight because you're not going to naturally want to do it. You have to sort of force yourself to do it. Like my coach would make me count for the class all the time. I would go red. I would be sweating. I'd be like, shit. And I would just not get it right. And she would call me out and say, no, that's wrong. Be like, damn it, why? We know this. But that's how I learned, right? It was sort of baptism by fire. Okay. So in terms of counting, let's look at it in 2 phases for everyone here. When you're looking at counting, and we're going to use ballroom dancing as the example here, it's a bit easier to do this. We look at the bar of music, all right? And then we have a measure of music. So a bar is, for example, a quickstep 1, 2, 3, 4. And then the next bar would be 2, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4, 4, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2, 3, 4, 6, 2, 3, 4, 7, 2, 3, 4, 8, 2, 3, 4. Now I'm going to write this down. Thank you everyone for staying with me on this. I love these Q&As, by the way. These are great once I get going. Excuse me, I lost my mind, lost my paper. Okay. My kids are awesome, man. Like they every morning, right? My kids are so beautiful. I love them so much. They are, and this is how well trained they are, right? They're 4 and 6, 4 and 6. They don't wake me up in the morning. Ask me how. Ask me how. Trained since birth to go to sleep at like 8 p.m. and and that's, you know, and then they wake up at like 7 or 8, and that is their sleep schedule. They stick to it, right? It is amazing for their emotional mood. But here's the thing: in the morning, they know daddy gets cranky. So the rule is that you know, daddy has to have his coffee in the morning. And then they always have this little joke with me. It's very cute, where it's like, they whisper in my ear, like, no coffee for 100 years. You know, you're not allowed to have any, because they want me to be cranky, right? And I'm like, I don't need it, guys. It's not a need, it's a want, okay? But either way, they do lots of art, right, in the morning. So they put like paper everywhere. Sometimes I'm covered in it in the morning. They'll just like place it on me. But the other day, 10:30 in the morning. They did not disturb me, right? I was like, oh my God, are they alive? And I came out and they were playing beautifully, no TV, nothing, because they don't know, they don't put that on unless I let them. And yeah, they'll do art. They created like an entire game. It was amazing, right? I love it. So yeah, just like that, we're gonna do this with dancing. We're gonna train ourselves, okay? So, your dance daddy, right? What's up? Okay, so let me write this out for you to conceptualize this. This is something I absolutely love to teach students, because I feel when we get to this point, in our teaching relationship, you are moving somewhere, right? Because it is a wonderful thing to know that this even exists. And again, this is one of the reasons that motivates me to do this channel, because when I learned this, I honestly felt like I was going from the Shire in Lord of the Rings, and you know, chucking that ring in and coming back to the Shire and bringing back all this new knowledge and wisdom, right? I found the elixir. Like, this stuff was so good to learn, and it changed me. So if we look at the timing here, for example, 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, all the way to 8, all right, like that. These are your bars, yeah? So 1, 2, 3, 4, count it. 2, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4, 4, 2, 3, 4, count it out. 5, 2, 3, 4, 6, 2, 3, 4, 7, 2, 3, 4, 8, 2, 3, 4, and always count with a little bit of tone. Don't count like you're in a funeral home. Oh, no, that you shouldn't have seen. Okay, so here's the thing about musical dancing. We have our beats, we have our bars, our measures of music. I would say, I think that's also a phrase. I can't, come on, brain. We'll just call it a phrase today. But essentially, beats, bars. Okay, so we've got our beats, each individual beat, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then that makes the bar. All right. Then our measure is going to be the whole 8. So 1 to 8 in terms of those bars. Now, in your routine, count your slows and quicks first. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 2. Sorry, slow, slow, quick, quick, slow. So for example, your quarter turn to right, slow, right foot first step, slow, quick, quick, slow. A chassé, slow, quick, quick, slow. And what happens is you then start to say all your rhythm counts as normal, right? So you learn your actual correct rhythm counts for every step. So in our quick step, we'll just do this as an example. So I'll write this down, quarter turn to right, okay? And then our progressive chassé. So do a little preparation step. Yeah, let's actually do a preparation step, because this is where people get confused a lot, actually. Preparation step, when we'll do that as a slow. Okay, now the quarter turn to right is slow, quick, quick, slow. And then the progressive chassé is slow, quick, quick, slow. And then there would be one more slow for the next step. We'll just leave that for now. All right, so just to get everyone on the same page, there we go. Preparation step is slow, quarter turn to right, slow, quick, quick, slow. Progressive chassé, slow, quick, quick, slow. Okay, so I didn't really think this one through, but I'm gonna have to write a bit tiny on this. But essentially, if I was to do this in beats and bars now, because this is the next stage, right, that you want to do. And again, like I said before, just counting to music with your correct rhythm is a skill, isn't it? So to then count beats and bars is a skill of the next level. And it's the thing I want everyone to challenge themselves to actually do. And now, think of it this way. Once you understand your slows and quicks properly, and you really don't have to think so much about saying them anymore, counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 2 to 3 will make sense, because you know your body is going to dance the slows and quicks correctly in terms of, 2 beats for a slow, 1 beat for a quick. And then, because once you start going 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4, 4, 2, 3, 4, all that, you have no reference in the beginning, do you, of how long that slow is worth? So it makes no sense at a beginner level to really just punch in phrasing in music, right, and count that way. It depends on the dancer, obviously, but right, does that make sense? You need to have a very solid foundation in your timing and your counts. Now, when we look at the beats and bars, I'm going to put numbers above the slows and quicks. So I will go 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so 1, 2, slow, quick, quick, slow, quick, quick. Okay, and what I do, just to help me a little bit, and it's a small detail, but it works, having a little comma between things, okay? So I will get my iPad pencil back, actually. This will be easier to do, but we'll go archaic. So here, right? See, above the slow, put 1, 2, then the quick 3, 4, and that little comma between separates the 3, 4 as quick, quick. Then the next slow is 2, 2. Then we go 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4. All right, you with me? So now I understand that slow is bar 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then the next bar, 2, 2, 3, 4. 3, 2, 3, 4. Now, here's the key. You must hit the first beat of that bar a little higher in your count. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4. That way you're not counting monotone, and you're not missing the bars. Now, if we think of it like this, so we're not going to, I've got the next thing to do on this, which is, where is it? You can underscore first stick, bar. All right, this is again, little things I did that helped me to remember where the bar, like how to actually know where the hell I was. So you can see I put a little underscore there. Yeah, it's mirrored. 1, then there's bar 2, then there's bar 3. Okay. When you look at dancing your quick step, all right, musically, meaning in phrase with the music, you are aiming to try to start the choreography. So for example, the first, what's it called? Well, we'll use the beginning of a routine. It's a bit easier there because this is a whole freaking massive lesson in and of itself, is not only choreography, but phrasing choreography properly. But assuming most steps do connect pretty well musically, you basically want to start your routine on bars 1, bars 3, bars 5, bar 7, bar 8. Okay, so bar 1, 3, 5, 7, 8. All right, now I'll put some music on in a minute to count this, but essentially what this means is you can see bar 1 is there. Well, where are you starting your routine? Bar 1. Okay, so when you get to bar 8, you would really want the next step, once you hit 8, 2, 3, 4, and you go back to 1, you're going to want that step to be, I don't know, something like a natural spin turn, or something like a new figure, essentially, right? Not dancing through a figure over 8, 2, 3, 4, right? You don't want to be in the middle of a chassé on the 3, 4 part of it and finishing on the 1, right? It's better to start a step in that sense on 1. Now that's more your coach's problem than yours, but I would, in terms of choreography, but if I can just bring it in for, you know, a practical use for you, when we look at starting your beginning of your routine on bar 1, the preparation step has to be danced on the previous bar, not on bar 1. Okay, so here's what we do. We look at, I'll do a basic 4-bar introduction. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4, 4, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and what we would do, actually we'll do 5, 2, 3, 4, 6, 2, 3, 4, 7, 2, 3, 4, 8, 2, 3, 4. That's a bit easier. Now, what happens for your preparation step? It's the count slow. So we use 3, 4 for the preparation. And I will demonstrate this so this will come together. And then you'll have to practice the life out of this. So you can see on this little sheet here, 3, 4, I have underscored it because that is going to be my preparation step. All right. So I would go 8, 2, 3, 4, and then the quarter turn can start on bar 1. So let's just put that into practical use. So dance it as the man. So essentially, I've got my wind up, which would be even further back on the preceding bar. But essentially, I'd be like 8, 2. That'll be 3, 4. All right. In fact, let's just backtrack real quick so you know the steps I'm doing. So the preparation step, slow, the quarter turn, slow, quick, quick, slow, the chassé, slow, quick, quick, slow. And then there's the next slow going into the lock or something. Okay, so now let's look at this again in terms of the beats and bars. So 8, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4. All right. Did I get that right? Should have, yeah. And then 4, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So you start to see the connection between knowing your rhythm counts and then phrasing it. Now, if we do it to music, by the way, I'm just going to say this. You might need to listen to this lesson again, right? Because particularly this part, this is quite specific, isn't it? And again, takes time. I used to, look, this will come to a question later about routines and choreography, but the way I'm writing it out and teaching you is what I did. This is the only way I actually knew. No one told me to do this. It's something I just figured out because I was very, it's the only way I could learn, right? Worked for me. I know other people don't do it the same way, but it definitely helped me a lot. Let's look at this quick step. Music, please. You know what? I would really like to see if I have better quality music here. Let's just have a quick little gander in the folder. I probably don't have anything in. Okay, quick step. Hell yeah, give me some rhythm, daddy. All right, let's go. Can you hear that? Let me know.
Give me some rhythm, baby. Give me some rhythm, baby. Take you out on the town and spin you around. Give me some rhythm.
Now, don't listen to the lyrics. All right, that's why most people make a mistake when they're listening to the song, they're listening to the melody and the harmony. No, listen for the beats and bars. So we'll do it again. Please let me know if you can, when I'm speaking and the music's on, if you can hear me over the music, okay? Because I don't have a thing to test my audio level for that right here. Okay, I'm just guessing. So, count to 8, not bars. Okay, so that's what we're not trying to do, is count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, we're going to count beats and bars now. All right.
Give me some rhythm, baby. Give me some rhythm, baby. Take you out on the town and spin you around. Give me some rhythm, baby.
Give me some rhythm, daddy. I ain't wanna chit-chat chatty. I just wanna dance and a little romance. Give me some rhythm, daddy. When we head out on the dance floor, I really...
That's phrased, right? Okay, so we know this intrinsically. We hear it and go, oh, there's a crescendo there, back down, and back up again. Okay, so in terms of like practical dancing, and I'll try with a different song. I don't really like that song anyway. Let's have a listen to this one. That's that song, isn't it?
Blue sky smiling on me.
Counted the wrong bar, but that's just, it was on time. You can be on time. Okay, here's the fun thing about this. You can count it correctly, like timing, but you can be like off phrase, so you like say the wrong bar on the wrong thing, and you can notice that. So that's where it gets fun. Anyway, let's do it again here.
Blue sky smiling.
I just went for like a massive like demonstration and realized I didn't like switch the camera. Awesome. So let's do that again. Here we go.
Blue sky smiling on me. Nothing but blue sky.
Do this together, guys.
Blue sky smiling on me. Nothing but...
I believe you are getting the idea. So that preceding bar, 8, 2, 3, 4, is where you would look at doing a wind up even on bar 7, bar 8, and then 8, 2, 3, 4, you would go on the preparation step. Now, that's what you practice. So in order, you've got the timing of your steps or the rhythm count, so slow, quick, quick, slow. You then add from that the beats and bar methodology I just taught you, and then you practice counting the beats and bars as you dance. And one of the ways I would do this is the last thing I'll do on this subject right now is I would drive around the car counting, particularly foxtrot, because I was so bad at knowing when to go. Like, I feel you, man, on this. It was so hard. I could not hear the beats and bars to save my life, number one. And I remember I had one specific lesson where I was stuck in the corner of this. So I used to have lessons with Penny. Like, Penny is she's like my second mom. She passed away a few years ago, but she's like one of those people in my life that have made one of the biggest impacts, right? And it's the person I also took over the studio from, right? And the reason I moved back from England was to do that because she got cancer. And so one of the things I remember about her was she was so good at just making you do the right thing all the time. So I was stuck in the corner of her studio where I'd have I did like 5 privates a week, and most of them were like at her house and this tiny, tiny corner studio. And I stood there for like must have been an hour. It was a 2-hour lesson. And I'd be in that corner in this frame. She just kept pressing back at the beginning of a foxtrot song and making me count it and try to step off on a preparation step correctly. Not even with phrasing, just the correct slow. I couldn't hear. I was so embarrassed, but I was like, I can get this. My partner was very patient because, not really, like, but she was frustrated because she could hear the music, right? She was very musical, whereas I had to train it, okay? So none of this came naturally for me. You please understand this. If at all you think I'm a reasonable dancer, all right, I'm telling you it was trained, okay? I just got these, I just had to figure it out, right? I had to go and put these pieces together, and this is what helped me and why I love teaching now, because I'm like, oh, these nuggets, if I understood these earlier, would have helped tremendously, all right? So anyway, the idea for me was that I would drive around counting this in the car, and that's the last tip I want to give you. So have the music on in the car and count the music with beats and bars. Even if you're off just 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, get used to that, all right? When it comes to your speed problem, that will fix, my friend, with lots of practice, all right? Okay, so big breath. Thank you. Let's hit up in the next part. We've got some feedback for Thara. Let's look at your son, Nikhil. Let's go. Nice top line. Actually, I just called I don't think that's on time. Not all of it. I'm just saying this beginning part. 1, 2, 1. That was just, I was just looking at something different. Okay, but this preparation step. So I'll get to see guys in a second. 1, 2, 1, right, so that should be so now, but first of all, I need to explain something. I think he has a lot of talent. So he has the typical, what I would say, the modern day dance problem though, and that is all the younger dancers. A great top line, right? Like really working on that. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Sorry, Tyler, that's why I'm not gonna hit too much on the music. There's often a delay with things, and I didn't think judging that. First of all, credit to the coach, right? I love how he's walking around like, just don't you fuck that up. Like he's just like right in there. That's all. I love that. So I love how aggressive we get with the waltz, right? It's like supposed to be this beautiful dance. It's like, where's your power? Move, son. Anyway, so yeah, so I'm not too worried about that. Again, the delay can be a thing. So with respect though to the modern day dance problem for the younger dancers, particularly because of YouTube and also where dancing's developed. So I've got no problem with dancing developing, right? There is sort of, there's evolution, but is evolution progress, right? And sometimes we go a bit too far. So the top line, meaning the frame, the way they're holding, is the modern day development, right? That's one of the biggest things that's changed in ballroom dancing. The technique really hasn't. So please understand where in the 50s and 60s and really the sort of the 1930s, really from the 40s, 50s, late 40s to the 50s, where the ballroom technique was sort of, you know, standardized, it really hasn't changed much since then, okay? Now, there has been development in movement, and so there's slight deviations in terms of how we're going to use our legs, but fundamentally how we use our feet, which is going to help with what I'm about to explain with the turns that I think you were mentioning there was a problem on that, hasn't. And this is where the big problem is. And I look at the modern day dancing and it can be ugly, not necessarily because of the top line, but because the legs, as a result of trying to move more, open too much. Okay, so this is one of the issues, is that you don't want to open your legs too much at the wrong time. So we're going to look specifically at the pivots here, and I'll give something practical to have a practice with, okay? But I just want to make sure that you understand that in terms of other coaches and things like that, I never get competitive with the other coach. I think it's a collaborative effort, right, when it comes to the dancer, right? I did not just have one coach in my life. There was multiple opinions, and that's what you have to understand. So one of the things that I want to look at, though, and reference back to, is how do we actually create better turns without taking away from the development of the top line and without changing what's actually also working, right? Because one thing you all have to understand is when you fix one problem, you give birth to another, right? So it's like, damn it, damn it. I was standing up, I had my frame out, and then I started using my legs more, and all of a sudden, bang, you start dropping your arms like crap, right? So we don't want to change the structure, right? We want to use the legs and the feet a little better. All right, so get out of here. There we go. All right. Now, first problem, right there. So it's a nice rise. See, that's a lovely top line there. You can't see my mouse, but here's the issue. No, they're not lowering together, right? So I'm just gonna see, he's already stepped. He hasn't lowered, and his foot is way out there before they've lowered together. That is a big problem. All right. So now his weight has been thrown back, and that turn that has got to be pretty hard to do. As in not the step, like it'd be hard effort, a lot of effort, I should say. Okay, so he's got a lovely upswing on that natural turn. I do like that. So there's the issue though. See that? Not necessarily stepping out sideways or diagonal. It's the actual way that that is being set up. And so I would like to frame this from in fact, in your membership area, Thara, with Anthony Hurley's lesson, the masterclass on the principles. And for those who don't know who he is, like Anthony Hurley is like the Yoda of I call him the Yoda of dancing, not to his face, of course, just online, away from him, like a troll. Anyway, so he is 1955 world champion. Full interview on my podcast or YouTube channel. Have a listen to it, right? You want to learn from the greats. He is, you know, close to 80 now, I think, and he taught every champion throughout the 20th century. Okay, he was doing, I think, 70 lessons a week when he's British, right? So the forward in the ballroom technique book is from him. And Alex Moore was the one that standardized it. So they were buddies, right? My coach Penny learned from Alex Moore. For like 10 years, she was learning from him and teaching for him in England. And then that's who I spent 15 years learning from. So in terms of like the foundations of technique, like I have a strong lineage in this, right? Like I'm grateful that I come from that sort of knowledge base, right? And then the coaches we work with, they all sort of worked from each other, collaborative, you know, in terms of the technique. And they always come back to the same principles. And I said to Anthony, look, when I come up for my next lesson, I want to get a videographer in, and I'd love to can you just write out what you think the principles are in ballroom dancing that we need to. When I got there, it was awesome, right? He had this sheet, and he had it's just lists. He just wrote out, and I looked at it and went, wow, there's so much there. And then what we did real quick is we categorized them into groups. 5 principles is sort of what we came up with. Didn't start off as like, just give me 5 principles. We actually categorized them because we could place them under there. And in that masterclass, it's very short, but man, it's powerful because he's an expert, right? He's world expert, legend, leader, and shaper of ballroom dancing. Okay, so one of the things he said in there, and this is why I think it's important you understand this, because this is not about athleticism or choreography. He said any dancer can rise, but it takes a good dancer to lower. And I was like, oh, that's so good, right? Any dancer can rise, but it takes a good dancer to lower. And recently I've been working with some of my higher level students and working through the fundamentals of rise and fall, right? Understanding how to do that. And this is one of the issues, is in the absence of lowering correctly, setting up your turn, what happens is you open your legs, right? So instead of lowering more effectively, if I open my leg like that, lady can then step through, and then I swing my legs around, we can act, and just through sheer force, we can turn, right? We can make it happen. Problem is it looks ugly, but also it's not as effective. So here's what we're going to do. Let's look at what's practical. So in the original technique books, right, when you do a pivot, the left foot goes back with the toe turned in very strongly, and it's in a straight line. So a spin turn, so what they're doing is they're doing a natural spin turn, then it's moving into spins and pivots, right? So they start with that spin turn. The toe would turn in, look where I'm stepping, right, versus out here. And as soon as you do that, you're very strong CBM, right? And then you would keep that foot in CBMP, okay, one track, you would not open it, and you would step forward and then up and turn, right? That's your spin turn. So due to the use of like more swing coming in, I suppose a bigger development of that, it's more acceptable for that leg to go out like backwards and sideways, right? And then as you do that, of course, you're going to turn and then keep that right foot in CBMP still. That right foot will not open. This is part of the problem. So you don't want the second step to open. Then you'll create your pivot again. So the spins now begin. There's a pivot, there's a spin, pivot and a spin. All right, so if you were to maintain, there's gonna be a long, long Q&A, everyone, but this is great for your son. So essentially, think of it this way. You have a pivot, which is your turn or your step held in CBMP, and you make half a turn. So a pivot, by definition, is a step in CBMP. All right, so there's my CBMP, right? I'm going to create that turn now. And as I do that, my feet stay in that one, okay? When I create the spin at the end of that, well, boom, if I do it again, well, that was crap, I was looking down, I would step forward and I would go onto a heel, then a ball, and turn. There's my spin, and about half again. So essentially, I'd be going in line. Obviously, you can't do that when someone's in front of you. So we have to move our legs, don't we? Right? So as we're dancing, I'm just going to bring this next little bit in. Give me a second, please. Oh, good. Yeah, foot cam is still on. Most important thing, everyone, the foot cam is still on. Okay, let me get that a little bit more dialed in for you, because the use of the feet and legs are what we're going to hit in the moment, not the upper body. Okay, excuse me 1 second. Okay. How do I do this? I'm just going to bring, I had some notes here. I will bring this up whilst I'm left turn, less CBM. Okay. I had some notes I specifically want to talk about in the natural pivot. Okay. Thank you for waiting. Okay. Yeah, so left foot back, small step, turn the toe in, preparing the lady to move across the man. Then the right foot moves to the side, and then the body turns strongly to the right. Right, so the root foot moves to the side. So this is what's changed, right? So you just saw the demonstration, right, of my feet. So essentially, you've got your toe turning in, pivot, and then spinning, okay? But you can't dance that as one. So what happens is on this first step, you turn your toe in, all right? You still create your pivot in CBMP. This right foot will move sideways and the heel strikes the floor and you pivot on it. So the main thing is trying not to get your left leg to move out so much, here and then here. Now, there's something else I'd like to mention, and I probably should have mentioned this right at the beginning as sort of the pre-frame. When it comes to the actual, what's it called, pivot themselves, the use of the ball of your foot is what's missing. So I'm gonna show you here in the demonstration that you just sent through. All right. I want you to watch the legs, not the upper body. All right. Watch the feet here as well. On the turn, so boom, boom. There. Right. So that's going to be toe heel. You can see the left foot is pointed like diagonally away. Now watch the next step. That right foot is, oh, damn it. Just try to do it again. So close, I can hit that pause. Okay, so you can see the right foot actually did all the work. See there? That's a good point. Look at the left foot. You see how turned out it is? All right. Okay, so that is one of the biggest changes I suggest he can implement. The use of the ball of your foot to turn through is how we rotate in ballroom dancing. So what does that mean? If I go backwards there, here's mistake number one. That leg is doing all of the turn. See that? No CBMP at all. So what is CBMP? If he doesn't know this, you've got to know this. Contra-body movement position. Two tracks become one. Okay, that's contra-body movement position. So if I'm looking at your feet and I'm trying to create CBMP, to maintain the CBMP, that's the wrong one, to maintain the CBMP, I want to make sure that the right foot stays in that track. The only way it can happen, I'll put it into the foot cam again, the only way that can happen, if you watch my feet, I don't want to go here and then let that leg do the pivot. This is wrong. I want to make sure when I go back on the left foot, even if I step sideways, which is totally fine, right, from that sense, you're going to turn through the ball of the left foot. You see what I did? This one here. So do that with a little wiggle, right? So you step onto it, ball heel like this. The right foot remains in place, yeah? Now, at the end of that, you can release into the spin and take that foot there, yeah? And now turn on the ball of the right foot. So again, that's going to create a very strong turn. When I go back on the left foot again to continue the spins and pivots, I will use the ball of the right foot again. Now remember, the heel has to go down, but you can see now the foot is not turned out like this, like it was before. Do you understand the problem there? And by the way, this is not isolated to him. This is a modern problem with dancing overall. The more the movement is trying to be bigger, the more the legs are opening, and that's going to create a big problem with connection. The lady is not going to have a lot to follow, because one of the things that the lady has to do in following is react to the man's lead. Yes? She doesn't get put into position by force. She has to react off the lead. Now, if your legs are open and you're not connected, she's shaping herself. She's putting herself into positions because she's been told to do that. He's not actually putting her into positions, right? So when you look at those lines, you can see she's doing the lines because she knows she should move ahead, but he's not. Those line figures come through the change in the man's hip, by the way. So any line figure, what is it? The lady's, the lady is the physical expression of the man. So he has to change the shape in his hips and upper body. She reacts to that. That's how it works, right? So again, if your legs are opening too much or whatever, you break that connection and that ability to develop that. So turning through the ball of the foot, if I was to sum it up, rotate through the ball of the foot. All right, it's something look, this was pulled up on me too, right? Really late in my dancing because I wasn't doing it enough. I was like, damn. So I knew on a pivot, I was like going back and my foot was just sort of hanging there and this leg would do that, right? And then I would turn through this foot and this would go back and I'd be there. So now what you're gonna do is take that left foot and let the turn go through the ball. Do you see that? Right, and that, by the way, we'll talk about CBM in a second. That's when you get really strong pivots, yeah? And then you can swing the body through that. Okay, so it's cool, huh? It's good to know this. Now, this isn't just for him, this is for everyone. So anytime you have well, when you turn, right? When you do a forward turn as the man or lady and you close your feet, it's a side step, right? But you turn through the balls of your feet. So the use of that is actually what gets forgotten in the chasing of big choreography, syncopations, moving all the time, okay? So get him to do that. The other thing to understand is the use of CBM. So what is CBM, ladies and gentlemen, okay? CBM, contra-body movement, is not a foot position. Contra-body movement position, P, means feet. So when I said CBMP, I was referring to the position of two tracks becoming one, whether you step forward or back, left or right foot, the feet are going in one line, okay? When you talk about CBM, contra body movement, it's about generating turn. So my body swings left and right, essentially, turns left and right. So if I go back on my left foot with CBM, because every step in ballroom dancing that turns has CBM on step one, no doubt. So I go back, my body turns, and as that happens, I generate a very strong amount of rotation through my body, right? So I'm trying to do that when I step back, not stepping back and then trying to turn my body. That's where your legs end up opening. So if we come back to the original thing I said, it takes a good dancer to lower. Why is that so important? Because at the moment of your weight coming together and I lower, this is where the moment of all of the next step is set up. So now where is lowering done through? It's done through the feet, so toe heel if that's the footwork, the legs, so the knees flex, and the body. So sometimes the body needs to lower, right? And the body also can rise. And we can of course have rise without the feet going up or down. So we can have leg and body rise only. Now, what we want to understand is that going up, he's got that going up real well. In fact, he could rise maybe a little bit more between 2 and 3 just to bring up the lightness of the waltz because we have more time to do that. And then when the lowering happens, so in this focus on the, of course, lowering through the right heel. Now, not just that, once that, see, remember, before that heel's even touched the floor, he's already stepped out here, yeah? And that foot there and done this. So what I'd like him to try to do, put that right heel down, let the knee flex more forward. How much? About the knee over toe. You can't do much more because the lady's in front. So he can't do this, yeah? So you want his knee to just be about knee over toe, and that's his lowering, right? Now, once that's happened, and here's how you test this, right? This is really great for him to try. Let him do his natural turn. Don't go into the pivot. Just do the natural turn. So 1, then up 2, 3, and then get him to stand on one leg. Because the weight must be completely on that right leg. She can stand on the left before the step. That means you put the heel down, number 1. Number 2, you can feel where the weight is in the body correctly, all right? And now, what happens when you lower the knees towards the toe? You actually have the moment to do the most important thing, which is set up your CBM or your rotation for the next step. How else is the lady supposed to follow it, right? Think about it logically for a second. If I want to go that way, and the lady had no idea what the routine was, it is actually the lowering and rotating in that leg that uses my body in a certain way. And it tells the lady we're going this way, we're turning this much, and it's going to be this strong. If I don't do that setup and I smash my leg to the side, I now pull the lady through my arms. I'm going to give you the big secret here. You ready? This is a great thing to try. Not only can they do that up and down, I want them to do it with no hands. So they probably won't even get to that turn the first week they try that. But if they do, and they've got the perfect balance together with no hands, she has to be connected, not a gap, right in front of him, exactly looking like that without the arms connected. They have to lower together and then do a spin turn without the arms. You will notice that if you don't lower that heel, all right, if you don't lower the heel correctly, I should say, and also set the rotation up in that right leg and use CBM correctly, all in that order, lower, knee, rotate, she will not be able to stay with you. Not at all. If I don't use my knee or my body properly and I step out, she's not going to be able to pivot. So that's the test. You work on the rise and the lowering together, move the leg up. All right. Do that a few times. Do the natural turn again now with no arms. All right. If you must, maybe just put the right arm up or the left. You can do it either way. But staying together. Then figure out, here's the thing about dancing that's great. If you can't do it, it shows you what you need to master, doesn't it? Because it's ineffective to pull, to push, and to grab each other. The idea of ballroom dancing is to dance as one, not together. So they're dancing together, you must dance as one, which means that when he creates the lowering, because the man's responsible for the timing of all of that and the lead, she then has something to follow off. Now, what you'll notice is that it's very hard to create a pivot with no hands. It's like it is a good 6-month challenge to try some of that routine with no hands, okay? But it will reveal to you the inadequacy. Where is your balance lost? Now, why is it lost? And it's going to be because of the perpendicular line into the sporting leg. So the fancy term of having my vertical line from my head, my clavicle, the middle of my pelvis, down into the ball of my foot. This balance line is lost, right? I'm throwing it off somewhere. So as a couple, we need to get the balance line. And by the way, this is the art. You do this your entire dancing life. This is not one and done. This is actually how you should practice, like seriously, and consistently. So it's like, it's not just routine. You are working as a couple on this to perfect it. And the couples that do this will become the best dancers in the world, no doubt, right? Because it is hard to do. Anyway, so now the setup, again, to understand this, he has to pretend that she has no idea where the next step is. So his leg and body communicates that. The rotation creates that CBM. How strong is CBM? It depends on the figure. So continuous spins and pivots, you're going to need to wind up and release a lot of that energy and then turn through the balls of your feet. Okay? So it sounds like a lot, but it's still coming back to the fundamentals of dancing. Lower properly, set up the next step. Don't just put your leg out to the side. Okay? Now, there's a lot in that, isn't there? I'm going to say that again and frame it properly. So, because this is important for everyone, by the way. So Dave, I know you practice a lot. You also want to focus on the same thing that Nikhil would, all right? This is not about competition dancing. It's actually about movement, right? And moving beautifully and well. So you don't have to take bigger steps. It's setting up the steps correctly. So again, to come into this for a landing, there's a lowering action on, 1. There's a rise through 2 and 3. And then as you come up together, you must lower together, the knee over the toe, and then rotate through that leg with CBM on 1, and then 4 and 5, yeah. Sorry, CBM on the first 2 steps of the pivot, yeah. So first 2 steps of the pivot there. So CBM, then CBM again, all right? So the body's gonna continuously go. All right, now, there is a lot of information from that, but this is the sort of stuff I love to teach and get into the thick of, okay? So for everyone, by the way, what just happened? I've got like picture and picture on picture. So for everyone there is something we can work on. And I will tell you this, if you can really work on doing your, using the ball of your foot a little bit more, that doesn't mean that your heel doesn't go down if that's part of the footwork. But if you can turn through the ball of your foot more, you will notice a massive difference in the ease of movement. It's one of the reasons why we wear, well, I think anyway, we wear suede on our shoes with wood, on a wood floor. You can then effectively turn through the balls of your feet a lot more. Okay, so, yeah, good luck with that. Come back to me. I want to see a video of that, like next month, actually. Next month. Show me that again next month, okay? See how he goes. Really work on that. By the way, I need to frame this one more time for you. If what I said you put into practice and you feel worse, or it looks worse, that's not my fault. What ends up happening when you go to improve, this is what people mistake about coaches. Development sometimes goes backwards. It doesn't mean it's wrong. You understand? This was hit into me when I really started to get into the nuances of advanced technique. I was like, damn it, I feel worse. Like I can see the end result, but I feel worse because again, what are you doing? You're rewiring your body, you're retraining. It doesn't mean it's wrong. What you've got to do is really apply it for a period of time. And if you'll start noticing, oh, actually that's easier to do. I've got more control. I can go faster, I can go slow. I'm actually in control of my dancing, yeah? Then it's working, isn't it? And so you have to keep persevering until it becomes the new habit. And then when you learn like the next thing, you can sometimes go backwards. So please remember, ballroom dancing is like a stock market graph, right? Going up and down, peaks and troughs, dead cat bounce, up you go. But you're trending up, but you do not improve every lesson, okay? You do not improve every practice. Sometimes you go backwards, but just for a little bit of time. And that's why we need coaches. That's why we need people to review our dancing, because if you didn't have that, you absolutely go backwards because you start getting really bad habits, right? So keep that in mind. It doesn't mean I'm wrong. This stuff is the technique of ballroom dancing. The application of it is where it gets tricky, right? So, and again, it's easy sometimes to just off you go. So the use of the standing leg is the key in that lesson, and that's something for everyone to understand. Please go back through this lesson more than once if you need to, all right? So, not if you need to, because it's a good idea. Last little bit, here we go. Face cam. Ulrich, my man from Belgium. Dude, I don't know what's going on with your emails. Thank you for letting me know. Please, everyone. Emails are so much more fickle these days. I love the day when you could just spam people and it worked. No. If you're not getting my emails for this, please make sure, one, you are opted in. Check your account settings. Very important. Two, I'm going to set up some sort of SMS thing because I think that's just easier as well, because emails bounce, they get rejected all the time, etc. And there's a big problem with emails and deliverability these days anyway. But yeah, it's really important to me that you do get things. So if you're not getting them, please let me know. And then check your settings, make sure you're opted in. All right. Now, it's been a while. For the last few months, I've been a bit less in terms of dancing, and not that I've been on the dance floor less. Okay. Due to a trauma in my left leg. I'm sorry to hear that. I hope you're okay. I couldn't move my left foot and I had little to no control over it. I did continue dancing, but the quality was a bit less than I had feared. Oh, sorry, the quality was a bit less, but much less than I'd feared. Oh, that's good. Due to the good foundation that you provided in BMA and BMA Next Level, so it's Ballroom Mastery Academy, and then after that is Ballroom Mastery Academy Next Level, it is possible to continue doing most of the figures, to my own surprise. That's good, that's good. Well, again, if you learn correctly in the beginning, it does help. I don't know if I'll be here for the Q&A, but here's my question. How do you write down choreography? Both a ballroom and Latin example are welcome. I have more than 80 choreographies on video, but for a quick reference between two dancers, this is far too inconvenient. Oh, I absolutely agree. And it's time consuming, because watching 1 minute per dance like that and then going back and back, it's actually very time consuming. So something on paper seems much more convenient, and in order not to reinvent the wheel, I'm asking you, you undoubtedly have a whole series of choreographies from lessons, workshops, seminars. If you have time, you can once again elaborate on the difference between a kick action and a flick action in the jive. Already done, my man. We did that earlier with the mooch. Well, okay, so kick is basically a leg like goes like way up. Like when you kick, your leg's just like almost to head height, and a flick is like anything from the knee down. So that's the difference there. Okay, let's talk about that real quick. So by the way, bring this in for a landing. I'm really grateful you all are here. Please stay with me on this little bit. This is an important tip for all of us to get a little better. Have a quick drink of water. I need to actually get something from my bookshelf. Bookshelf. Where on earth, though? I thought I had this ready for you all. Sorry about that. My choreography books are, don't know where. I'll just do a lucky dip. Oh, dip. Yeah, I have something. It was a giant book. It was A4, and it was. I need to find that. I need to find it. I thought it was over there. It's like this thick, yeah. Because like at one point I was having like 100 medals would go through in a day, right? And of that I had 150 routines to do in that day. Okay, so these weren't my routines, right? So these were students' routines, and then a lot of them were very high level. So they had basically pro-am comp level choreography to do. So you do train yourself to remember things, but I don't ever work off memory. So what I would do is I'd write out the choreography, very much like I showed you before with the Quickstep example, but let me see if there's a quick one I can reference here. So here's all my little, look at these notes, look at these awesome notes, right? Look at that, Stickman. What's up, Stickman? Yep. By the way, that's turning there. See that? Got the rotation thing. That's good. Great distance to travel. Swing must initiate before the right heel lowers. Yep. So the body is doing that before the heel lowers. Okay. So, oh yeah, that's actually I'm glad that is actually on my notes here. I forgot to mention when you're doing CBM, contra body movement. So that's initiated, right? So you're lowering, you're using your body as you lower, not as you step. So if you remember that when you go backwards or forwards, if you already step, then you try and turn your body. That's where you're going to knock each other off balance. Okay. Now let's get one more thing in here. So by the way, if you have a piece of paper in front of you, which I hope you do, because you're studious students, start writing out a couple of steps on the left-hand side of the page, okay? So use the waltz as an example, okay? You can say the natural turn, the left-hand side of the page, or natural spin turn. All right, reverse pivot, double reverse spin, and we'll use that as an example, and I'll just write it out for you myself now. And yeah, I don't have it here. So these are my notebooks. Oh, there we go. Actually, here we go. Yay. There we go. That's the way to do it. So yes, here's a good example. Bang. Right. Nice and neat. So what is this routine from? Natural turn, turning lock, double lock. Yeah, this would have been a comp routine a long time ago. Very good. So right there, there's an example. Okay. The waltz. You can see left-hand side, natural turn, 3, 1, 2, 3. I would write this a little bit more detail now. That 3 is the preparation step. Pivots with an asterisk being like you're going to die. No, that's where I repeat the routine from, back to the pivots. Right, and look, it's in beats and bars. So 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3 and 2, 3, 4 and 2, 3. So that comes back. Oh, I'm so glad I found this because that's comes back to our phrasing example before, this time for the waltz. So throwaway oversway is hitting 8, 2, 3, and then 1, 2, 3, I'm coming out. So 8, 2, what is it? 8, 2, 3, then 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, something like that. Now, I didn't phrase. This isn't my this is choreography from a coach. So I would want to come out on 8, 2, 3 if I was doing that. So throw over sway would be great to do like 7, 2, 3, and then come out 8, 2, 3, and hit 1 on the next step. So that's an example of how I would iterate this myself now, looking back with what I know, and make that actually better to make it more musical. Because in this, I'm dancing the throw over sway here. Where are we? And if you don't know what that is, that's okay. I'm dancing that through a bar. All right, so I would add something in to make sure I actually finish the throwaway there on 8, 2, 3, and then commence the full oe whisk on bar 1. Anyway, so that gives you an example of how you phrase choreography using beats and bars to guide you. Now, what I would add on this as well, and that's why I want to show you my other book, is on this side here, that's where I'd put notes. So for example, there would be things you need to do on the natural turn, right, to get into the pivots, that would be different to say what I need to do on the side lock. So for example, I might want to make a note that on that double lock, like I'm swaying my body a certain way, right? Or, you know, I'm using my weight a certain way. Whatever that note was, I would put something there. So leave it always a little column, but that's how I do it. And I would have this is something I've been wanting to do for a long time, so I may as well just share it. Maybe that'll give me some impetus, but I've been wanting to create a proper like printed dance planner. Like you can buy it, bang, it's got like a thing that you put your routines in a specific way, and you know it's all Ballroom Mastery branded and it looks pretty sweet. So I'd like to do that at some point. Would you be interested in that? And if so, feel free to email me what you would like included within that yourself. So we'd obviously have sections for choreography and then maybe for your own lesson plans or notes. But you could use it for the year, like a bit like a journal or a diary. Okay, so here's one for Tango, same thing. In this one here, right, I don't know what I'm starting with a lock. That's a bit random, isn't it? I think this is halfway through a routine. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 2, 2, 3, 4. See beats and bars again. Venus and lock, chasse, Spanish drag, quarter beats. 8 and 2, 3, 4. That's good. And then the fan out on 1. So that's well phrased. Right, quick step, bang. So you get the idea. Okay, so that's how you do it, Ulrich. Find a book, and then maybe use the back of it, and just that can always be for choreography. And do it in ballroom and then Latin. So you got 2 sections, if you will. And then categorize them, because you're a smart man. I know you got the engineering brain. Categorize it in terms of either beginner step, beginner routines to advanced, or competition versus medals. Don't or just under these are all the waltzes, but put them in an order that makes sense to you. I did this. This is a group class routine. That's a medal routine. That's a comp routine. It's all waltz, 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 right? Then you'll start to notice patterns, guys. When you do this, you'll start to realize you don't have to remember how could I dance 150 different routines in a day besides just repetition of those. Eventually it's like the brain does. You don't need to remember each letter of each word to dance, right? I don't remember lock, L-O-C-K. I don't need to remember that. You start to identify chunks as little patterns throughout that become common. So for example, in the waltz, a very common pattern is a whisk and chasse, right? So you don't have to think of a whisk, W-H-I-S-K. No, you already see it as a big chunk, right? So eventually you start to get these chunks and they start to connect and make a lot of sense. And there's certain things that you never stop changing in terms of pattern. So over time, by writing it out, you actually learn faster down the track with choreography as well. Okay, if you don't do that, you actually stifle your learning. Believe it or not, that's what I believe. And don't write it on your phone. Sorry, don't write on your phone. It's not the same, okay? It's not the same. I put choreography on my phone. In fact, I have spreadsheets that would blow your face off with choreography, right? Doesn't help me as much, I'm telling you, but I do it because I'm in the studio and I'll be like, da da da. And writing is just, there's something about it, guys, okay? Okay, now, video, look, so in order, I would say write first, video it for reference, put it on a spreadsheet if you want to start like formulate, like trying to make, connections to other points and moving choreography around is sometimes what I do. And then that would be, but don't rely on your memory. That's the tip. Okay, so listen. Holy Lord, that's massive. Well, welcome back. 2025 is gonna be a banger. So you see, y'all get a lot of value for the membership, okay? I love doing this though. This is great. And as we get into the masterclass and everything, please, the YouTube channel is your emporium as well. It is not a separate area. This is, everything I do is still for you guys. It doesn't matter if it's free, if it's paid, if it's a question I'm answering, wherever it is, however I'm answering it, it's all done because of providing more value and for all of us to improve. Okay, so your support is greatly appreciated. Okay, I really love what we do. This is a business for me, so I do need to make money off it so I can continue investing, but I'm putting a lot of money into technology, to subscriptions, to make videos high quality as possible, and so you can learn better, right? So we can get that improvement, all right? So thank you so much for everything. Please encourage your friends to join, maybe not your competitors. And any questions you have, send them through, all right? Now, okay, so hold on a second. Yeah, okay. Any questions? Let's go. I'll just put them in here before we go. I'll post my video in the members area next month. Sorry, my mistake. No, it's okay. Could you briefly answer a question I also had about BMA? Yes. Yeah, go for it. I do want, oh, by the way, Elizabeth, if you're still here, welcome to Ballroom Mastery Academy, and also John. Excellent. Yeah, you're all going to smash it. There's a few people that are enrolled in that. Excellent. You keep going. That is a self-directed course. The live Q&As aren't in there. They're here at the moment, right? So we're not, I will add more into Ballroom Mastery Academy down the track. I do plan on adding a little bit more into there at some point, and then of course relaunching it to a wider audience. And for those who have been through it before, there'll be new content, and you'll get a heavily discounted price if you would like to redo it with the new content and of course the existing and me being in there. Okay, how do I get the next level? Okay, oh yeah, the cool t-shirt, yeah. How do I get to the next level, and how does it work with the questions for the Q&As BMA? Okay, yeah, so that's what I was saying. I've launched it, I think 3 times, meaning launches in, new candidates come in, and I guide them through it and answer questions directly related to BMA. That was prior to having this live Q&A section, which I wanted to be able to have anyone who was a member from any program be able to give me questions. So if you're in Ballroom Mastery Academy and you have questions in it, whack them in here. Very important thing, and some people do that. With regards to the cool t-shirt, I will get I just had a bit of a problem with the merch delivery. So I've got my Shopify store back up, and there was a bit of an issue, I think, with the fulfillment. But yeah, that's something we'll get in there as well, not a problem. And if you don't have a t-shirt yet from being part of Ballroom Mastery Academy, but you've got to finish the 6th module, okay, you got to finish it, right? And I'll see, because there's assessments in there, then let me know and I'll get you your t-shirt. I think Julie, I got to get you one too. 6 weeks in BMA almost up. I wanted to make sure I have lifetime access because it's great content. Oh yeah, okay, thank you. Okay, just to be clear, subscription, like Netflix, you cancel it, you lose access to what was connected to the subscription, right? So Dance at Home, these Q&As, and a couple of other little courses in there, right? Ballroom Mastery Academy Next Level, a standalone actual courses that you purchase, and you get to keep the lifetime access so long as I have the access for the platform that it's on, okay? Because it's not downloadable content in that regards. But you paid for it, you don't need to pay for it again, unless there's specific upgrades and new content I add in, and I decide to go in there and teach again throughout the 6 weeks, guiding students through, because paying for my time, and of course the upgrades within that. Having said that, once you bought it, right? So no, it's yours. And so if you ever cancel your subscription, that's still going to be part of your thing. And yeah, there's a lot of content in there. And just last little framing of this, and it's very important to understand this. When I took a very long time and strategic approach to understanding what would I create and put together. Dance at Home is a mammoth program. It's a library, and it will continue being a resource for you as long as you dance. Ballroom Mastery Academy connects to that. It gives you more foundations of what to do when you're doing figures. So essentially dance at home is like learn figures, yeah? Footwork, timing, basic stuff. The Ballroom Mastery Academy gives you the idea of how to use your body a specific way, and you practice that a certain way. So whenever you're learning figures, you're like, okay, cha-cha, I need to dance like this, right? And then at the end of it, you're getting to the stage and performance side of things, or practice side of things, and that's more the mindset, right? Practical, strategic ways to approach dancing. Ballroom Mastery Academy Next Level is a massive jump. I remember Ulrich saying it's like, if BMA is like high school, Ballroom Mastery Academy is like going to university, the next level. It's much more in depth, and that's where we get into the more nuances of advanced technique, music, training, etc. across all 10 dances. There's exercises for balance, controlling your weight, understanding swing and sway, body rhythm in Latin, the bigger developments that have happened in the last 20 years. And so there's a lot in that. And of course, like it's a higher price point because it's far more intense, and you also keep it, right? So it's one of those things that will stick with you forever, right? Anyway, if you don't have a t-shirt, please let me know. Let me sort that out and shoot me a quick email on that so I can add it to the list. All right. You are all awesome. Thank you for staying with me this whole time. I really appreciate it. As always, I hope you have a wonderful dance experience this month. Leave me your questions, and I look forward to seeing you on a YouTube Live, a Facebook Live, in the members area, or somewhere out there in the wild. Thanks, guys.